All right, listen up. We're here to correct a critical failure in your training. The subject of this briefing is simple, so let's make it crystal clear. Japanese is not a font. Your handwriting is illegible. Now, that's a complaint you've probably thought to yourself, haven't you? You've looked at the flowing, natural script of a native speaker and what? You judged it? You thought it was messy. Incorrect. Maybe even just plain wrong. Well, you should know that this exact complaint was directed at an 8th Dan Master of Calligraphy, someone whose handwriting is, by any real Japanese standard, perfectly normal. And that little incident, well, it revealed a much deeper problem. So, let me ask you directly. When you can't read something, is the writer really the problem? Or could it be you? That brings us to Section 1, your blind spot. We're about to diagnose this critical weakness in you. Let's be honest, your training has been almost entirely digital. You've learned from textbooks, smartphones, and computers. You've been looking at this clean, uniform, totally sanitized version of the language. But the real world? It's messy, it's got variation, it's personal. You, my friend, have been trained on a lie. And this leads to a catastrophic failure in your logic. First, you see a real, handwritten character. Next, you can't process it because, well, it doesn't perfectly match the neat little font you have stored in your head. And so you conclude, with some truly baffling arrogance, that the writer is at fault. This kind of thinking is a massive liability. You need to understand this, and I mean really understand it. Japanese isn't a fixed object. It is a living, breathing language that's defined by something called yure. That means sway, variation, deviation. It's designed to be flexible. The font you know is just one single, rigid possibility out of an infinite spectrum. Now let's talk about another one of your delusions. You've probably heard this phrase, right? Someone sees your carefully drawn, font-like characters and they say, "Jouzu desu ne." You're so skilled. Let me be perfectly clear. This is not a real evaluation of your skill. It's a social pleasantry. It's just communication. They're being polite. So please, stop patting yourself on the back. It's kind of embarrassing. Believing that polite fiction creates a dangerous gap between what you think you can do and what you can actually do. This overconfidence, it makes you fragile. It makes you blame others for your own shortcomings. And what about your trophies? Your test scores, the JLPT, it measures your ability to recognize fonts on a screen. The field, the real world, demands fluency in reading the human hand. Test competence is not field competence. In this context, your JLPT score means practically nothing. Do you understand? Look, that's a harsh truth, but it's one you absolutely need to hear. Because acknowledging a weakness is the very first step to fixing it. And believe me, this weakness is fixable. Okay, now we're going to elevate the stakes, because this isn't just about culture or some academic skill. This is Section 2, a matter of survival. Japan is a country of earthquakes, typhoons, and sudden power outages. In a real crisis, that neat digital world you rely on so heavily, it's going to disappear in an instant. And when it does, all of the most critical information is going to be conveyed by hand. We're talking about information on evacuation routes, notices posted at shelters, vital medical instructions, lists of the missing and the safe. It's all going to be scribbled on whiteboards and scraps of paper. Your inability to read it won't just be an inconvenience, it will be a danger to you and everyone around you. So here is the mission-critical lesson for today. Handwriting in Japan isn't just a cultural artifact. It is a fundamental piece of backup infrastructure. And your illiteracy is a failure to understand the terrain. The time for analysis is over. The time for action has begun. Section 3, your orders. Your order is simple. Write. The principle is absolute. To be able to read, you must write. And let's be clear, this is not for the purpose of producing beautiful characters. That is completely irrelevant right now. The purpose of writing is to train your brain for input. By writing a character yourself, you learn its core structure. You start to internalize which parts are essential and which can be abbreviated. You develop the pattern recognition you need to decode the handwriting of other people. This is your path to real mastery.
Which brings us to our conclusion. Section 4, the real language.
Look, you are free to ignore this directive, but you must understand the consequences of that choice. To refuse to write is to willingly discard half of the Japanese language. It's a self-imposed blindness. So you have a choice. On one side,
you have the font. It's half the language, it's a comfortable, clean lie that will absolutely fail you when it matters most. On the other side, you have the hand. That's the whole language. It's a difficult, messy, human truth that will give you true competence. Choose wisely. Dismissed.